As always, we're going to delve into the different papers, Sunday World, Sunday Times, Sunday Tribune. Let's get into the Sunday World that's on your screens right now. Right, so they're leading with the headline there. Ramaphosa exit headache for the ANC. President's alleged imminent departure has hamstrung the co-governing party's national officials are struggling to decide on a replacement as he has not taken them into confidence there. There's obviously more on page 2 with that story. So the party has no plan in place for replacement. That is what Mawande writes there. Obviously, the ANC does not know what to do, at least for now. That's if President Ramaphosa keeps to his reported plan to quit this as head of state after the upcoming G20 summit to be hosted in South Africa. It's according to certain ANC's top 7 members that the Sunday World allegedly spoke to following the Sunday Times revelation last week that Ramaphosa is in the departure lounge. So we'll monitor what obviously comes from there. You can also see on page 2, they expand a little bit further. Members of the ANC National Executive Committee there. There's a picture of that top 7. They've not been informed about President's alleged plan to retire. We've not spoken to the man since the news broke that he might be leaving. Well, those are obviously more speculations at this point, but that's what they are leading with as the headline on the Sunday World. Court orders ex-SABC execs to pay Saudi millions. There's more on page 5 there. Gwanazi forces police spy to blow cover. More on page 7. Zuma's plan to take over Joburg. That's more on page 6. Let's turn to those pages and see how we can unpack a little bit further. We're looking at the SIU, of course, who has now won the court bid to recover millions that the SABC paid to Saudi. The execs approved the payment to former COO, ordered to repay the balance of the money. Zandile writes there that the SIU has obviously just won that landmark judgment, forcing 3 SABC execs in particular to pay back the 11.5 million rand in unlawful payments that approved to controversial former Chief Operating Officer Hlaudi Motsoeneng almost 10 years ago. As we continue there, of course, another headline that they went to Jacob Zuma's plan to win Joburg. MK party leader looks to field Baloyi for Joburg mayorship. So the MK party president there, Jacob Zuma, plotting a strategic political move. So writes Mawande there to win Joburg City. This is in the upcoming local government elections, but in particular to stop DA heavyweight Helen Zille from emerging victorious there. Of course, things are heating up ahead of local government elections that's set to take place a little later on next year. We still don't have an exact time and date, but there are obviously chess moves ensuing as we look at what the possibilities and probabilities are also going to entail when it comes to finding partnerships and coalitions as well. Perhaps another story that we obviously have been following on the SABC is the Madlanga Commission. Rafadi reveals COVID role in abduction case after Mkwanazi's testimony. This is what Bongani writes. Private investigators says his contribution led to a shakeup in the investigation team. So Bongani writes there that well-known private investigator founder Calvin Rafadi has voiced concern that KwaZulu-Natal Police Boss Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkwanazi has compromised his covered role in a high-profile kidnapping investigation, as well as his status as a registered police informant. So that continues on page 7 there. Right, so those are the stories that obviously the Sunday World is following. From the Sunday World, let's turn our attention to the Sunday Times now. New hope for SA-US trade deal. Let's delve a little bit further there. Light at the end of the tunnel. This is Washington finally responds to the trade proposal. Kotatso Madisa writes, South Africa is edging closer to clinching a historic trade deal with US. This comes after Washington this week finally sent through a detailed response to a trade proposal from Pretoria that was dispatched months ago. And those South African officials just stopped short of describing the progress as a breakthrough. The fact that the two sides are at last negotiating deals, it offers some new hope after months of acrimony sparked by US President Donald Trump's imposition of that 30% tariff on South African goods. So writes Khotatso there. You can see a beautiful picture of 2 young children, Nonhle who's 5 and Jabulo 4. They participate in Breast Intentions Skim 5-kilometer color run yesterday. That was happening at the Taba Trails in Johannesburg. The aim of the event, it was to raise funding for mammograms under the slogan, Give Hope, Fund a Scan. You can see there was lots of color and fun for them there. That was captured color me in. KZN official ignored red flag in 600 million rand tender scandal. That's another big story that the Sunday Times is following. Sabelo Skiti writes, a senior official in the KwaZulu-Natal Transport and Human Settlements Department is under fire over a series of procurement irregularities. It includes committing the department an extra 250 million rand that was not budgeted for in a 600 million rand subsidized public transport tender. This is according to internal documents, which Sabelo writes was leaked to the Sunday Times. It shows that the head of department, Sponi Sombele, which is also pictured there, he ignored red flags which were raised by senior officials over the tender and also overturned decisions by adjudicating committees to push through millions of rands and irregular variations of road construction tenders. So that obviously is those are the two top stories there that they're running with. From the Sunday Times, let's turn to a KZN-based newspaper. This is the Sunday Tribune. Let's take a look at what they're leading with there. Morani Commission's bold move. Let's delve a little bit further. Bongani writing there, killings reduced in KZN with the implementation of recommendations. So some of the Morani Commission's recommendations are bearing some fruit as they led to the police's political killings task team formation, the reductions of murders in Cleveland's hostel south of Durban in KwaZulu-Natal. It's according to a former secretary of the commission. The former secretary was asked not to be named to protect his business integrity, said the commission completed its work, handed the report to the Premier's office, who had a mandate to implement the recommendations. So that's the top story that they are running with there. You can also see a big, bold picture. The caption is "Stronger Together." From kickoff to try time, the Springboks delivered a powerful performance in Durban, defeating Argentina in front of a passionate home crowd. And this is the Bokkers' last home fixture in the Rugby Championship season, setting the tone for the road ahead. Sasha Feinberg, Ngomezulu, of course, coming out there with a hat-trick and also scoring the highest amount of points in a game. That's following Percy Montgomery as well. Well done to him. Well done to the Bokke as well. At 23 years of age, it's quite a feat. Another story that the Sunday Tribune is running with, KZN Catholic bishops ban ancestral rituals. Tribune reporter writes there, on Sunday mornings, townships, suburbs and villages across KZN comes alive with the rhythm of Catholic life. Families rise early, children tug at polished shoes. But for many, however, the spiritual week does not end at the church doors. At home, ancestral rituals also continue. Goats, chickens are slaughtered to honor their ancestors. Obviously, for generations, this has happened side by side, but in a rare joint pastoral letter, Archbishop Siegfried Mandla Kwacha of the Durban, in Durban, he, as well as 8 fellow bishops, condemned the mixing of Catholic teachings with African spiritual practices, such as divination. And so the 3-page September 16th letter explicitly forbids priests and lay people alike from seeking guidance from traditional healers, offering animal sacrifices as well. So it's obviously caused such a conversation starter for the province, for the communities and the country at large. So those are just some of the stories that the newspapers are following.